Hey YouTube, Internet, Builder Dude Nation, what's going on? And I know in these times that question is a loaded question, has a lot of different connotations. What's going on with me? What's going on with you? What's going on with Builder Dude, the channel? What's going on with COVID? What's going on with the world? And I'm hoping in this video that maybe I can answer at least one of those. First things first, the absolute most important thing, how am I doing? I just want to say that I'm doing perfectly okay so far. I've been staying healthy. And my family so far has also been staying mostly healthy, which is a good thing. I'm very thankful for that. New York, of course, is not an ideal place to be in these situations, but I also don't live directly in New York City, so that also kind of helps. So I'm able to stay isolated and quarantined. Very thankful to have gotten out of Boston before things got really bad there. Yeah, like a lot of universities sent their students home like right before things kind of really got dicey. So I'm very lucky and I'm very thankful. And I hope that all the same is for you, but I know that's kind of a tall hope, and I just hope that, you know, everyone's doing well and managing to stay isolated. Now, I'm sure the next question you have on your mind, and this is like really mainly what I'm going to be talking about in this video, is like what's going on with the Builder Dude channel and what's next for it. As you probably saw, I haven't actually posted a new video in several months, and I'm just going to go right ahead and tell you guys I don't have any plans to post video tutorials on this channel regularly anymore like I used to. So like the new tutorial every week, I'm not doing that anymore, and I know that's going to upset a lot of people. Now, that's not to say that I'm never going to make a video on this channel again. Not what I'm trying to say. I don't have any plans to post videos regularly as often as I did, like in every week kind of thing. Now, why is that? Now, you guys of course deserve a reason to know why I've decided to stop doing this. It doesn't have anything to do with COVID. This is actually something that I personally decided for myself at the beginning of 2020 this year. The number one reason is I simply don't really have time to be able to keep up with a schedule like that. It turns out that when you're a university student, especially if you're at MIT, you're busy as things go. And I was able to maintain for the first 3 semesters of university, being able to keep up with that schedule, but it came at a cost, I found. I only actually get to spend time at home here in New York for maybe 5 weeks out of the year between my semester and, like, usually I'm interning or working somewhere. So that time to be home and be with my family is very precious. And the only time I was able to shoot videos was during that time. And it got to the point where I was spending most of my time at home working on videos for the channel and not spending time with my family, and that it just felt wrong to me. Like, I felt like I was robbing myself personally, and so like that's when I kind of decided enough is enough. Now, the second reason is I've actually run out of ideas for tutorials, which is kind of weird, but it's true. I've taught you everything that I know about the EV3 and everything that I think there is to know about the EV3. I could be wrong about that, but I'm not an endless vault of knowledge, even though I do have, you know, maybe a little bit more than the average bear. But I've expended just about said everything there is to say about the EV3, and I don't really know how to do more tutorials from there. Like you saw, I branched out into like Python and C tutorials, which are kind of cool. They didn't really catch on though, but I'm glad they're still able to be helpful for some people, and that's something I really appreciate. And I've been doing tutorials for 5 years now on this channel, which is kind of crazy. I started back in February of 2015. And like that means it's been more than a quarter of my life, because I'm not even 20 years old yet. And to do something for a quarter of your life at any stage in life is kind of crazy. So I feel satisfied with the amount of time that I've spent on the channel. Now, of course, there's always the question of could you learn like Boost or Spike, which are the 2 like new Lego platforms that are out there, and I think that would be cool. I would love to, but that goes back to my first reason, is I don't really have the time to invest learning in a new platform. I spent several years using the NXT and the EV3 before I started the channel, and in order to invest that much time into like learning a platform and being able to deliver quality content on that like I did with the EV3, it is simply really not possible for the state of life. So it's kind of come to a dead end in terms of like ideas. I also thought of something like the show Mythbusters, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. That was one of my favorite shows growing up, and I used to love watching it all the time. And then as I got older, it was like a few years ago. The show, you know, it kind of started petering out, losing steam, and then the show kind of got canceled, and then they kind of revived it for a little bit with different people, but it just didn't have the same mojo and charisma. And for me, it was kind of disheartening to see a show that I loved and really enjoyed watching kind of become a shell of its former self. And that's where I learned, like, there's a point at which you have to stop stuff before it like becomes too much. And I really see my channel in the same way, where I think there's a time to stop doing something before people don't miss it anymore. You know what I mean? Because if something ends and you miss it, that means it was good and it was worthwhile. But if you just keep going beyond the point where it's like it's beyond its welcome, then people won't miss it anymore, and you kind of like ruined it for everyone, I guess. Like, imagine if you were eating pizza with your friends. If you eat 2 slices, you're like, I might eat another one because I enjoyed that, but I think I'm good. And that's a good place to be. But if you eat like a whole pizza pie, like 8 slices, there's gonna come a point where, like, all right, this is too much. I don't enjoy this anymore, and you're not going to remember it like fondly in retrospect. Of course, all of the 200 or some crazy number of videos that I've made over the 5 years are all going to stay on my channel and on my website. I'm going to continue to maintain that as a source of information and as a resource for everyone, because I know tons of educators and teachers and students use that, and that's something I'm still very proud of. And that will always be freely available for anyone to use. That'll always be there. I will try to be accessible for questions through my website, and actually my website is broken. I need to fix that. Through YouTube comments. I can't really promise being prompt at all. Like, I take months to reply sometimes, and for that I'm sorry, but like I said, it's a time issue. But all of my content will always stay there. The next thing I absolutely must emphasize is that the reason why I'm stopping is not because I'm too old for Lego. I'm not too adult. I'm not too cool. I'm not any of that. Nobody is ever too mature for Lego. Lego is such an awesome, not only like a toy for fun, but it's such an amazing teaching tool. And I'm really honored to have the privilege to have been able to tap into that and be able to, like, you know, transfer like knowledge and ideas and inspiration to you guys and use Lego as a medium. And that's something that, like, I'm always going to remember fondly in retrospect. So this is not because I'm like too cool for building stuff with Lego. That's not at all. And if you're still building with Lego, no matter what what age you are, whether you're 7, 17, 70, keep doing what you're doing, because it's awesome. And I envy you, because I wish I had that time. Anyway, and I have to say a huge thank you to you guys, because like the channel just hit 24,000 subscribers last week, which is mind-blowing. If you had told me back in February of 15 that I was going to be there in 4 years, I probably wouldn't have believed you. It's kind of crazy. And I'm so profoundly thankful to have been able to come on this journey with you and be able to inspire so many people. Like, people still tell me that, like, there are people that, like, students and teachers at first competitions who like talk about like the work that I've done in my videos, and it's such a huge honor to have been able to touch so many people in their lives and their experience, and really like bring them to like this higher intellectual place. I'm getting really deep and philosophical in this video, which is probably not what you expected, but it's what you got. I just need to say a massive thank you for your support over these 5 years, and for all those people who are always there in the comments section and always sharing my videos and always watching and always encouraging me to keep going, because that's really why it lasted for 5 years. And I'm just so immensely grateful for that, and it's been an honor. And the last question that I want to address is, what's next for me? Not necessarily as BuilderDude35, but me, Kyle, as a person. So I just recently started a new big project that I'm really excited and really emotionally invested in, and that is I'm launching a music career of sorts. I'm very hesitant to use the word career because it has implications that I'm like dropping out of school to like become a SoundCloud rapper. That's not what's going on at all. I'm still staying at MIT. I'm a sophomore at the time of this recording, and it's going to be something like that I work on as a side hobby. Lenseye, I'll also put link in the description and also links up here in the cards. And I also started a separate new YouTube channel under the same Lenseye name for all of the music stuff that I'm working on. And actually just this Friday, I had my first big serious release, is what I would call it. It's a song called Quarantine. Quarantine, teen spelled T-E-E-N, like teenager, which I thought was pretty clever. And the song is about melt at the time. So of course there's a lot of emotional investment in that, and I'll put the channel. I'll also link that up here and down there, so you can check that out if you want. Exhausting and straining, and because of that, in the last few months, it's become increasingly important for me to embrace the more artistic side of the things that I'm interested in. I've always been interested in music, which is something you guys have even seen creep into this channel, and that's something I want to kind of develop more, that side of me, and kind of run with it. So it would really mean a lot to me if you guys could go check out some of the work that I'm doing on Spotify or iTunes, Apple Music, as well as my other YouTube channel, and like support that project as well as I get started with that. And maybe you'll end up liking my song, and maybe you could share it to some people who need to hear it. Especially the quarantine song, I know for me, was really helpful to kind of help me cope with the situation and everything that's going on, and I think that it can do the same for you. Any emotional reaction that you guys have to this video is welcome, so if you want to rant or vent in the comments, go right ahead. The forum, the floor is always open to you. Of course, I always encourage you to check out my stuff on like, my music, and wish me luck on this kind of like new endeavor as I kind of develop a different side of me and kind of become a more well-rounded person. Of course, it makes me sad to turn this channel more or less out to pasture, but all good things must come to an end, and I want to end a good thing before it turns into a stale, soggy good thing. And of course, huge thank you to all of you guys for your patronage and your support over all the years. I could not have done it without you, and I could not have gotten to where I am, even considering MIT, without that. So, thank you. This was Billy Did 35.